Good morning. Welcome back to the tavern and the Oasis. Been about a week since I was last up here. I had a pretty dry week last week. I got up here last night. I didn't do any pre-filming like I usually do. I just got here a little later and looked the Oasis over, and a few of the beds were pretty dry, so I started watering, and that's pretty much what I did because I needed to get the watering done. Well, the Oasis is looking pretty good. We're about to begin the digging of the trench for the greenhouse, which is here in a couple of big boxes. I'll catch that on film a little later, hopefully. And we've got to start digging the holes for the deck, along with little miscellaneous jobs in and around the garden beds here in the Oasis. Now, there's a whole lot of things that going to be taken care of and doing. And since it's been a week, and there's been some growth, things are looking good for the most part. There's a couple of beds that are not doing as well as they should. I'm not entirely certain what's going on with them, but this is the learning year. If you know anything about gardening, or if you're looking at gardening, or you're looking at creating your own oasis, or you're looking at creating your own urban farm, whatever you're going to do, that first year, don't expect 100% success. Because that first year is the year you learn about your own little microclimate. Because everywhere you go, there is a microclimate. And while you might be able to grow something really big and bold, 5 houses over on the same street you live on, they can't grow it at all. Even if they use all the same soil and same watering techniques, it's just everywhere has its own little microclimates, and some things do better than others. And that's what we're facing here. I'm facing the microclimates. I've never spent this much time here figuring out all little bits and pieces about how everything is, how the sun shines. Now, we've also had the problem this year is it's been a really cold spring and early summer. And here we are, it's July 17th today, and it's still it's 13 degrees out this morning. It peaked at 22 degrees yesterday with overcast skies, and overnight it dropped down to 11 degrees. So it's been really cold, cool. The cool weather crops have been doing fantastic, but the hot weather crops here have been really slow to get going, and that's what I'm kind of facing in this year. And also, I let some things get a little dry this last week. I didn't anticipate that, and I've sort of stunted the growth of some of my plants, but these are the things you learn, and you got to start learning to plan for them. But that first year, you don't get a whole lot of production. You get some, but your massive production, you got to remember all the lessons you learned, so that second year you get an abundant crop, and by the third year is when you start producing in mass amounts. So you have to remember, if you're doing this, prepare and make sure you've got yourself set up to be able to survive the first 2 seasons, because those are going to be your hardest ones. Anyway, without much further ado, let's dig right into a little tour of the Oasis and see how it is doing. Okay, so off we go. Okay, well, let's have a look around and see what the Oasis has to offer for us today. Kiwis are doing well. Bachelor buttons are getting ready to bloom there. Sunflowers are doing quite well along this garden, or along this wall here, this fence. All of this, start digging up the trench today for the greenhouse. I'm so thrilled that is finally here. Only took 3 weeks to get it here, maybe 4. So, a few things are doing good. This garden bed here, we got the kale, we got the purple kale. I can start plucking off some of the smaller leaves of that purple kale, using that in salads. But as you can see, like my pumpkins right there, they're still like barely growing. And this tomato plant here, while it has a couple of really nice tomatoes on it, let's see if we can get down in there. There we go. A couple of nice tomatoes on it. It's not growing well. Although I have one bed that's just going nutso. My echinacea, though, is fantastic. Look at that echinacea. Look at those pretty echinacea flowers. We got this tomato plant here, the lemon boy, suddenly doing really well. So it's like oddball here and there, things are doing well. Got lots of poppies. These the good type of poppies. We're gonna have to figure out what to do with them. Corn's coming up though, up in between the onions. And I actually did a little research on that. Corn in onions is a good thing, as long as you space your corn plants out and your onion plants. So you can double plant some stuff, and that's one way to maximize the amount of growth you can have. Okay, the grass patio. The grass is starting to grow. I planted the seed last week, roped it off so people wouldn't walk in there. And you can see, it's really hard to see right now, but it's very fine grass growing up in there. Another week, we'll see what happens. We got this area here that I put these large wood chips on. As everything starts to come together on this. Now this is the bed that's going nuts. I have no idea why this bed is doing so extremely well. I've got beans, I've got snap peas in it, I've got cucumbers, snap peas, tomatoes, the achuras, which are growing quite well. So basically I've got a lot of really good stuff in here, and this bed is just going crazy. And then look at these sunflowers. Look at the stalks on those sunflowers. Those stalks are, I'll give you an idea, and that stalk is just huge. These are like the thickest sunflower stalks in the garden, along with the onions that are down in there. I've got onions in there. I've got peppers. My peppers down in between here, unfortunately, but it's really hard to see them. Oh no, look at that, Anaheim chili. Look at that, and there's several of them in here. Along with it's putting out new ones, so it's like this bed is just doing fantastic. Seed for the turnips. Looks like it's getting ready to be full seed. Look at this. Seed pods are doing really well. I'll be harvesting these before, some of them are bursting open. Something's eating them. That's alright. More than enough seed to go around, I think. I'm going to have to give that a good look over. What have we got here? Thump, 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 thump. Huh. Strange neighborhood. Beets are still moving along really slow. I've got my asparagus planted in here with one little teeny tiny asparagus plant here. Look at that. Okay. This bed here is not doing too bad, although we've got some squash there. It's coming out of the bed. The broccoli is cut way down, although it's still producing little bits. One cabbage there is doing well. Other cabbage here, okay, that's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way it's forming up. But a couple of nice cabbages here. Cauliflower I let go to flower. There we go, that one's getting ready to go to seed. Beans, we got beans on here. We better start plucking them. Gotta start plucking those green beans. Potatoes are starting to die back, which means I'll be harvesting those soon. Got another squash that's escaped out over here, which is good. Snap peas in this bed. Unfortunately, this bed has had the worst kind of horrendous things happen to it. First, a deer ate the snap peas back. Then snap peas started growing. They weren't properly supported, and I thought I supported them. And then wind came along, knocked them over. I had to pile them back on top of each other. It's got all kinds of snap peas hiding in there. I got to do some plucking on this one today too. They actually get to be hard to be seen. So, strawberry patch. Looks like we're going to have a strawberry here. A couple strawberries. So not a complete loss in that. Onions and garlic, because the garlic was planted so late, it's gonna be slow to harvest. Another 2 or 3 weeks. But look at these onions. We got our first onion bulb sitting up here. Oh, that's a decent sized onion right there. That's nice. And we're gonna have to pluck some of those soon too. Seeds from all the radishes. They're podding up. Ooh, look at that. That's how those pods look when they plump up. That's neat. I've never done this before. Never grown stuff to seed. Got carrots down in there. I'm letting some spinach go to seed, letting some lettuce go to seed. So on the whole, everything's looking pretty good. We got rhubarb over here ever since I cleaned this bed up. I got to redo this bed again. It's got weeds are coming back on that one. It's amazing how fast the weeds overtake things sometimes. But look at that rhubarb. That's coming back nice. Going to actually get some rhubarb. I was beginning to think we weren't going to have any. Rhubarb, the plant that the leaves are poisonous, the roots are poisonous, but the stem in between is highly edible. Go figure. You got to wonder about the people who figured out what you could eat. How did they determine that sort of thing? Who were the taste testers? This looks edible. Nope. Sorry, Joe tested that one. It's not edible. The raspberries, which have been doing decently, producing out some occasional berries here and there. And of course the salmon berries, which I was rather disappointed when deer snuck in the garden when I had it open. They snuck in, ate my berries, and left. Well, they didn't leave. They didn't leave willingly. I scared the crap out of them. I went in the house to get a glass of water there, and sure as shit, bold ass deer will sneak in if you leave the gate open. They don't care if it's the middle of the afternoon here. Really quite irritating. Plums. We do have plums. Let's see if I can get one here. There's one. I'm going to have plums, lots of plums. So that's it. That's the Oasis, and that's where the Oasis is at today. We got a lot of stuff we got to get done. As I said, eventually we got to get over here and redo the compost bin, which is piled high with crap again, but that's what happens. So there's where we're at. All right, well, that's it for the tavern, and let's get the tavern open, or get the Oasis open. Let's open it up. Oh, forgot about my chamomile there. Good, it's going to seed. We get lots of seed off of that. Oh, and this one here, which I had water. Yes, it's coming back. I didn't kill it. Knocked it back a little bit. Okay. Let's get the Oasis open.
Well, I stagger and I fumble. Boys, I've been drinking for days. Well, I stagger and I fumble. Boys, I've been drinking for days. And the reason I'm drinking, my woman got some low down ways. Want me, baby, you ought to tell me so. If you don't want me, baby, you ought to tell me so. I'll get my trunk and my clothes, and out your door I'll go. Baby, what you think of me? You ain't been giving me no rest since I've been in Nashville, Tennessee. one more verse and I ain't gonna sing no more. I'm gonna sing one more verse and I ain't gonna sing no more. 'Cause my train is here and you know I gotta go.
I tried to take my baby out dancing last night. We found a little spot that I thought she would like. We walked inside and I said, let's dance. But she turned around and said, sorry, Daddy, not a chance. That's not rockabilly. Whoa, no, that ain't rockabilly. Let's go. That's not rockabilly. That's square. If the cats don't rock, then I just don't care. Next door, the band started rocking. I said, what you think of this? They said they better start to poppin' or I'm gonna get pissed. Cause that's not rockabilly. Whoa, no, that ain't rockabilly. Let's go, that's not rockabilly. That's square. If the cats don't rock, then I just don't care. Where they really like to rock, a sweet little place by the old truck stop. They ain't got a band, but they sure do hop to the old jukebox at the Rockabilly Hop. Cause that's sure rockabilly. That's right, that's sure rockabilly. It's out of sight, that's sure rockabilly. Here tonight, that's sure rockabilly.